You're listening to The Okanagan Reader, where we present readings of short stories and other works that have been released under a Creative Commons license by their creators. You are free to listen to and share these readings as set out in their version of the Creative Commons license. Today's reading is The Conclusion of the Invisible Empire, written by John Kessel and narrated by Jim Bowering. It's a short story in the collection The Baum Plan for Financial Independence. And now, The Conclusion of the Invisible Empire by John Kessel. We galloped down the road toward Parson's Knob, away from the creek. A couple more shots whizzed past us. When we crested the ridge, I spied Sophonsaba, Llewellyn, and Iris ahead of us. Instead of following, Lydia veered right into the trees. "This way," she called. I jerked the reins, almost losing my saddle, and swerved with her between the trees. Clouds had blown in, and a wind had picked up. In the dark it was hard to see the branches that whipped across us. I ducked and dodged, trying to keep up. We descended through a series of gullies toward the river. After 10 frantic minutes, Lydia halted and held up a hand for me to be quiet. We heard further shots in the distance. "The men must have been covering the road," Lydia said. "They wanted us to flee that way. Llewellyn rode them right into an ambush." "Will they tell?" We had all vowed death before betrayal. Lydia's masked face turned toward me. "Llewellyn will not. Sophonsaba definitely will not. Iris would if she hasn't already." "What?" "Do you think they came upon us by accident? They were forewarned. We have a traitor among us." "It can't be. If they knew, why weren't they waiting when we came for Patterson?" "I don't know." We rode north along the river, picking our way quietly through the trees. The foliage was so thick here, we had to dismount and lead the horses, and eventually we moved away from the river so as not to come out onto the road near the ferry landing. Leaves rustled in the stiffening breeze, broken by the occasional hoot of an owl. The temperature was falling, and it felt like rain. I pondered what had happened to the others. Sarah was surely dead. If caught, Sophonsaba would be summarily shot. And the others? Last winter, the martyred Marys had been hanged in Trenton. The governor had vowed to expunge the viper of female vigilance organizations from the state. Victoria Woodhull's press had been destroyed. Even Bloomer's timid The Lily was forced to print in secret. In the aftermath of the president's assassination, every man in the country would be on the alert. My horse nickered nervously, tossed its head, and I shortened my grip on the reins. Lydia held up a hand. "Willets Road," she whispered, and, handing me her horse's reins, crept forward to peer into the clearing in the trees, looking in her black robe for all the world like some monstrous crow. She came back. "It's clear. Let's try to make it to the barn. I'll take the horses from there, and we can creep back into town before first light." We remounted and rode west, away from the river. The road was deserted, and the sinking moon dipping beneath the gathering clouds shone eerily, the oak trees with their sprays of leaves black against the sky. 20 minutes later, as the Compton place arose out of the darkness, we heard the sound of horses. "Quickly," Lydia hissed, and kicked her horse into a canter, heading for the barn just as the clouds opened and the rain began. I raced after her, and we jumped off our horses, pulling them inside. We peered out toward the road 100 yards away, through the increasing downpour, as lightning revealed 3 horsemen trotting by from the direction we had come. One of them towed a horse that looked like it might have a body thrown over the saddle. The rain drummed on the roof, drizzling through gaps in the boards. Neither of us spoke for some time. Lydia took off her robe and tucked it under her saddle pad. Mine reeked of Patterson's urine. I buried it in some rotting straw in the corner of a stall and tucked the hood into the waistband of my trousers. "I'll take the horses back to Martha's stable," Lydia said. "You can get back to town on foot." "Who do you think those men were?" I asked. "I don't think they are from our town." "I expect they're from Maryville, maybe joined by a few from town, but not many. We'll find out tomorrow." "I don't believe Iris betrayed us. The men fired as soon as they saw us. Would they shoot at their own informer?" "I would not hazard to guess what a man might do," Lydia said. I sat back in the straw of the barn's floor. The darkness was profound. I felt a spider's web against my cheek as I leaned against a stall. I begin to wonder if we can ever change them. Lydia turned to me. Her voice was fierce. "If men were capable of change, then reason would have done it years ago. For most, the only answer is death." "How can you say that?" "You and your precious Robert. What do you think we have been doing? We aren't changing their minds. We're forcing them to stop abusing us because they know if they don't stop, they will be punished." "No, I don't believe that." "Do you think Patterson is capable of having his mind changed?" "Maybe not Patterson, but other men." "Any men persuaded are regarded by others with contempt. Men like Patterson run the world." I wanted to protest, to point out that no one had come forward in answer to Hines' call at the church. Instead, I brooded. If it comes to war between men and women, women will lose. She tugged at the hood on my waist. "Why do you think you wear this?" Just then my horse neighed and backed up into the darkness. Through the sound of the rain came voices from the road. We peered through the barn door, and were just able to make out 3 figures pulled up, sitting motionless in their saddles. I prayed they would pass. Instead, they moved off the road toward us. Lydia found her horse's reins, fitted her boot into the stirrup, and pulled herself astride. "Sneak out the back. Stick to the woods. I'll ride out front and outrun them." Without waiting for my protest, she kicked her horse's flanks, crouched behind its head, and raced out of the barn. The men were startled. Lydia veered past them and out to the road. One drew a pistol and fired. I saw the muzzle flash in the dark. I did not wait to see what happened next. I crawled out the back of the barn and ran, slipping through the mud, for the tree line 50 yards away, through Compton's abandoned cornfield. I did not look back until I was under the trees. The men were gone, chasing after Lydia down the Maryville road. I ran for a long time. I played in these woods as a girl, running with the boys, climbing trees, building forts, fighting General Lee and Napoleon and wicked King John, and 1,000 childish games. But, though I knew the woods well, in the darkness and rain it was hard for me to keep my direction, and I got lost. Perhaps it was a delayed reaction, or fear, or some late understanding of how mad our project had been, but I found myself sitting beneath the trees, soaked to the skin, sobbing. When I closed my eyes, I saw again Sarah's head snap back from the force of the shot. I prayed that Lydia was wrong about Iris. I wondered if the others had escaped, and realized that if they had not, it would be better for me if they had been killed. Yet how could I face the day, hoping for such a disaster? As dawn approached, the rain stopped and the clouds blew away. I could make out my surroundings and realized I was not far from home. I tried to stand, but a wave of nausea swept over me, and I leaned one hand against the bole of a tree, bent over, vomiting. I stuffed my hood into a hollow log and made my way into the lessening darkness back home. My legs felt as heavy as iron. When I approached the house, I crept quietly into the kitchen, undressed, and washed my face and hands with water from the kitchen pump. Dinah came in and sat on her haunches, watching me with feline imperturbability. I crammed my shirt and trousers into the bottom of the laundry basket. As I climbed back into bed, Robert lifted his head. "I've been lying awake all night," Will this ever stop, Susanna?" "It stopped," I said, resting my head against his arm. "Thank God," he said. "Are you all right?" "I'm fine." He kissed me on the cheek and fell asleep. I lay there, waiting for the dawn, my hand resting on my belly, thinking about whether I wanted it to be a boy or a girl, or nothing at all.